Conflicting reports from Iran of another possible cyber attack using a Stuxnet virus. Aimed at crippling its nuclear program, Iran now denies it recently fought off a cyber attack on key industrial sites, including a power plant. Iranian officials now claim the original report was due to a misunderstanding. But the country remains on high alert, preparing for cyber sabotage. Mark Dubowitz, Executive Director of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, is joining us right now to share some perspective on all of this. And you know, Mark, this happened in the Bandar Abbas region, and Iranian defense spokesman denies any new cyber attack at all. He told the Iranian students' news agencies, for example, the attack was foiled. He went on to describe that this was the latest computer worm as being similar to Stuxnet, which, of course, struck Iran in 2010 and dealt a serious blow to its nuclear program. But what do you say what actually happened there? What are you hearing?
Well, what I'm hearing is that there indeed was a cyber attack. I mean, the Iranians can't really decide whether they're a aggrieved victim or whether they're so powerful that they're impervious to Western attacks. So there's always this propaganda that comes out of the regime. But Bandar Abbas is a strategic area. Not only does Bandar Abbas have the main naval base that's controlled by Iran's Revolutionary Guards, but it also has key refineries. It is Iran's major commercial port. And what's most interesting, Kelly, is that Bandar Abbas actually has the Bandar Abbas uranium production plant, which is Iran's key production plant for the mining and production of uranium, which is a key ingredient for Iran's nuclear weapons program. So a very strategic area, and no doubt of real concern to Western powers.
And of course, that is a very important concern to not only America, but also, as you said, Western powers, and there are some who claim that this particular cyber attack was done in retaliation for Iran actually trying to cripple computers in the Saudi Arabia oil industry and even some financial institutions here in the United States. You'll recall a few months ago that attack erased Saudi files and prevented Americans temporarily from gaining access to their accounts. And in fact, Defense Secretary Leon Panetta, if I recall, in October called attention to this and America's vulnerability to computer warfare that could be cyber Pearl Harbor. So what is the U.S. doing now to protect its assets from cyber attacks coming from Iran?
Well, there's no doubt the Iranians are aggressively going after our own facilities, and you mentioned two classic examples of this. But I think we should go back to the main purpose of these cyber attacks against Iranian facilities. This is not meant to go after the Iranian people. This isn't meant to go after Iran's general economy. This is meant to go after Iran's nuclear weapons program. And this is an attempt to find a non-military solution to Iran's nuclear weapons developments. And I think you're seeing a campaign by Western powers, by the United States, by Israel, and by others to try to get at the key nodes of Iran's nuclear facilities, and also to go after Iran's proliferation-sensitive energy sector, which even the United Nations acknowledges is providing revenues for Iran's nuclear weapons program.
And, you know, to that end, Congress has just approved an amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act, which, of course, will then toughen sanctions on Iran in some key areas. What impact will that have on Iran's nuclear program?
Well, you know, so far sanctions have had no impact. They haven't broken the nuclear will of Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. They have not changed his risk-reward calculus. But there's no doubt the Iranian regime is hurting. Its economy is in free fall, and these sanctions are meant to massively intensify the economic pressure in the hope that peaceful economic pressure will change the regime's risk-reward calculus. Again, no evidence that it has. We'll see with the next round of negotiations that's supposed to resume in January.
Yeah, and that's a very important time. But again, the military option does remain on the table, albeit it's not being discussed right now.
Well, the military option has to be on the table because the only way that you break Ali Khamenei's nuclear will is if he believes the United States will use military force to destroy his nuclear facilities. If he doesn't believe that, he has no reason to compromise, and all the Stuxnet attacks and sanctions in the world are not going to change his decision and his desire to have nuclear weapons.
Mark Dubowitz, thank you very much for shedding so much perspective and insight on this. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly.
All right, Jamie.